everyone. Welcome to another episode of Anything and Everything with Donna Lisa. I'm your host, Donna Lisa, and today's special guest is Ivar Hottentot. He is actually with Diamond Home Loans. Quick bio and background about Ivar. I actually met him in the hospitality industry years ago. I want to say it's probably been about 10 years. I was working at a small little Hampton Inn at the time. That's when I first met you.
That's it.
So Ivar started in hospitality business in Las Vegas in 1997 at Eagle Canyon Airlines as an international sales manager. Continued in an international sales position for Scenic Airlines from 1999 to 2004, and joined the Aladdin Resort and Casino in 2004, which became the first Planet Hollywood Resort and Casino as international sales manager for about 5 years, correct? And
Correct.
then
Yep.
you eventually moved into international wholesale distribution in 2010, and have worked for 4 different companies in the capacity as a product development director on the West Coast. In 2020, while working on a rotating furlough basis for MP&A with 1 month on and off, you decided to get into the Nevada mortgage and loan business. So you got your broker's license, correct, and now are with Diamond Home Loans.
Correct. Yeah. Starting in August last year, after I got my license, I got into the office and started working with my friend Kevin Everwine, who's had this brokerage for about 2 years, and he himself has over 10 years of experience. So it was an opportunity to start, using some of the downtime that I had to branch out and learn something new and try something that I had never thought about. But I think the furlough or the COVID pandemic shutting things down really opened people's eyes to other things they could consider to make an income and branch out if the industry that they're in is possibly going to have some struggles for a while. And obviously, I think we're still seeing that with travel, with the international borders being closed. There's really no guarantee as to when international inbound is going to start again. So it's been a great silver lining for me and my family to learn something new. And really the greatest thing is how I've been able to help people in ways that I never even imagined. Friends of mine in the industry, other folks that I've met. I love helping people. So this is another way to do that.
Nice. And so it's funny because you said you got your license in August, correct?
Yeah, I think I passed in August and I started right after that.
And I think that's when you and I kind of connected over LinkedIn, because I took the exam in July, finally got my license in real estate in August, because like you, was furloughed in May, and thought, okay, well, what else can I do? And I had real estate background from like years ago, maybe 13 years ago, before getting into hospitality. So I thought, okay, well, real estate's still thriving, so let me just get back into real estate. But yeah, I mean, nice to see that you guys are, staying busy. I'm sure you didn't at the beginning, just like I did. I did not expect real estate and loans to do as well as it did in 2020.
Yeah, no, I never would have thought. In fact, I went for a hike with my friend, probably, I want to say it was April. We were just, when everyone had downtime, and we're like, hey, let's go for a hike. There's this great hike out by Lake Las Vegas. And we had a good chat the whole way up and down about, his industry and everything being shut down and working from home. But they were still doing a little bit here and there. I think the restrictions from the different wholesale lenders and the banks started kicking in. A lot of the programs that they initially had or had in the past went away. So I didn't even think that was much of an opportunity. But then probably around April, May, they started getting busy again. And about that time, we were at a function together, and our wives were chatting, and his wife said, you should have Ivar really consider getting into the business, because once you pass the exam, you just start in the business. You start calling folks, you leverage your relationships, and you never know who's going to need help until you start telling them what you're doing. And that's exactly what happened. I started doing some loans. I started posting on social media. Friends were saying, hey, tell me about mortgages. You should do my mortgage. And I'd say, yes, I should. Let's see what your situation is and if we can help you. And the first 2 deals I did blew me away. Like the first was a VA refi. I was calling some leads that we got from a title company, from people that had VA loans, and they'd probably purchased them about a year prior. And the first family I helped had a rate that was like 4 1/8, and they qualified for the 2 1/4 VA refi. So the family ended up saving $800 a month on their mortgage, which blew them away. And I said, wow, if it's going to be this great, this is definitely something I'm going to enjoy. And then I helped another family. They shaved about almost $400 off of theirs. And about that time, I started
Wow.
talking to my friends who then also had scenarios where they could save, they could shorten the length of their loan. They could, one friend of mine I'm actually helping right now, still, she tapped into her equity in one of her investment properties. We
Okay.
managed to lower the payment on the investment property to pull out another 70,000 for cash out refi, which now she's going to use to pick up a second investment property to create more cash flow. So that was
Nice.
another scenario which I was really happy to be part of. And
Hmm.
yeah, they just kind of grown from there. I have another friend. I helped him consolidate a couple loans, and he's going to take about 2 years off his loan. It'll be done in 10 years now, and he's shaving about 31,000 off of his what would have been interest
Wow.
payments over the period of time. So, and it was just a matter of asking. Like, I was telling him first about an investment opportunity with one of his investment properties, but then I asked him, "So, what's the rate on your primary?" He's like, "Oh, it's pretty good. It's a two and three quarter." I said, "Yeah, we probably couldn't do anything there unless we got you like a 10 year." And it turns out the 10 year was two and a quarter. But then he told me about a second, which was at five and a half. Before you
Hmm.
know it, he was shaving off a lot of interest
Wow.
payments. So yeah, now I'm getting some referrals from my wife, from some of her clients at the Pilates studio.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of growing, and I'm really expanding my outreach with business professionals, realtors in the community, as well as other states where we're licensed. We're licensed in
Okay.
Nevada, Colorado, and Florida. And funny enough, my travel businesses, three of the last headquarters I've worked for, the companies are based in
Hmm.
Orlando. So I've got a
Oh,
pretty good social and hospitality network throughout
right.
Orlando and Florida. So I'm reaching out to them as well as realtors in Florida and trying to expand on helping my friends and their contacts in Florida. So yeah, it's,
Nice.
it's definitely growing. I never would have thought that'd be
Yeah, I
another
mean,
way to do
so
this.
that's awesome because I have a ton of people right now that have a ton of questions about, I mean, me being in real estate, they automatically think, okay, well, she knows about loans, and I don't.
Yeah.
So I'm like, let me refer you to somebody, or, they always ask a ton of questions. So in regards to your services at Diamond Home Loans, what kind of services do you guys provide?
So it could be anything from the initial consult or just a conversation on the phone where we
Hmm.
can tell people, based on their scenario, they can say, listen, I'm looking for a home that's maybe priced, let's say $300,000. My FICO scores, I don't want you to run my credit, but let's say my FICOs are at 725. I'd like to know what the interest payments would be if I have that kind of FICO score. And if I was to put 5, 10, or 20% down, what would
Hmm.
my payments look like? And with that, I can do a free assessment on where they would be, what different programs are, whether they want a
Right.
conventional loan, an FHA loan, if they're a VA loan. We're just now going to get our jumbo loan programs back this coming Wednesday.
Okay.
So there's been a lot of people we couldn't help anything over, I think it's 540,000 or $548,000. Anything under that is a
Okay.
conventional loan. Anything over is a jumbo loan. So
Gotcha.
that will open up a huge market. As you know, the market here is growing. I think I read
Hmm.
the other day in Summerlin, the average home price is 550,000. Well,
Yeah.
Vegas is 350s. It's really as simple as collecting the information on our free online secure application called Blink,
Okay.
and they can find that at homeloansbyivar.com. Once they complete an application, we'll have a phone call. We'll see what the options are, because then we'll have the accurate debt to income, all the liabilities and information in the
Okay.
system. And if they want to move forward, I'll register the loan in our preferred wholesaler system. They'll get disclosures via email. Everything is e-signed, and literally within one day, I can have a conversation. We can process the application. It takes about 15 minutes. We can send the loan estimate disclosures out, and once they've e-signed all the documents, I can register it. So within a day, we can literally get a loan pre-approved by our wholesale lender. So it's a really swift process. So I can include the customer's email in the system. So every time there's an update to the loan, as it goes through the system, they can track it like they track an Amazon package or a FedEx package. They can see where it is in the process. And if the customers we really encourage customers to be good at collecting all their information up front, because
Hmm.
the standard documentation that an underwriter needs, really it's your driver's picture of your driver's license, or both if there's two people on the loan. There is your W-2s if you're W-2 employee, or your tax returns if you're self-employed. Two of your last pay stubs if you're W-2. A mortgage statement, insurance document showing you've got insurance, your HOA if you have an HOA, a receipt from a utility, and those are the main documents typically that are required, whether it's a refi or a purchase. It might be a little bit different, purchase or refi. Once we upload that, the underwriters are like, yep, we're good to go. And then they start working on the loan. We tell people what the process is, what documentation we need to make it flow. Again, time is money. If they're not as good at collecting the documentation, we may extend it out. We can go longer if we need to. It really depends on how urgent it is for them.
Okay.
Maybe how urgent it is with the if it's a purchase, that the documentation, that all the contingencies are done in time so that we meet the deadlines for a purchase loan. So it's an amazingly easy process if you have a good system to work with. And our preferred wholesale lender makes it so easy for us. So we just provide the information for the customers on what we need. They provide it to us, and a lot of the times we can go dockless. We don't even have to collect all the information. It can be done digitally. So yeah, and I think that's one of the eye openers for me going into the business, that I always, I've done loans, I've bought houses, and everyone is so tired of signing 120 pages of disclosures. But now with e-sign, through the entire process until you actually get to the title company where you have to wet sign, it's super easy.
Yeah, it is. I realize that too. I think Nevada is one of the states that actually where digital signatures are legal. It's not legal in all states, and it definitely makes the real estate process for me as well much easier, because it's hard to get a hold of your clients sometimes, to always meet with them and make changes and ask for signatures. So the DocuSign is like one of the best things, and I love it. Yeah,
it sure is. I mean, you can do it on your cell phone. It's amazing. EaseDocs is the company that our program runs through. And I've seen the documents. I can do it side by side with the login details from a customer, and I can walk them right through step by step if it's confusing. But most times it's pretty clear and pretty intuitive. Sometimes there's maybe a disconnect on the email or whatever, but for the most part, really haven't any problems with it. It's been super easy.
So with you guys do, I mean, for the average person requesting some information on the home loan process. You just explained how smooth the process can be. So for individuals who don't necessarily have the best credit, or the best case scenario for a home loan, do you folks offer not necessarily credit counseling, but do you help them through the process in the next 6 months if they've got to repair credit? And is that something that you guys also do?
Those are best left to people within our business network. So we have certified financial planners. There's a couple that I work with, I refer to, and they provide a free financial assessment. So these people are really the experts to take a look at where their debt is, where they can shave, where they can possibly, redirect some of their efforts to pay off certain credit cards. And typically, if most people have a credit card, or more credit cards, and they have high balances on each, that's usually the first area where you can positively affect bringing your credit score up. I myself found that when I paid off my credit card last year, more than 50%, my credit score bumped up over 45 points. So that's one of the fastest first areas you can have an impact. And then, if people have concerns about a past issue, whether it's a BK or, how much time they have to wait for that, we can provide that information. I'm going to be networking and referring folks to a credit counselor that someone in my network has been working with. So we have contacts to help people to get themselves in the right position to buy a home. And then we can tell them, if they don't know where they are, kind of what they're looking at, what the difference would be if they were to apply for, again, a $300,000 house with a 640, which is kind of the starting price that our preferred wholesale lenders like to work with. There are others we can find. Again, as a broker, we can find lenders that offer all different types of services. And there are those out there. They're usually non-qualifying loans that they may have a higher interest rate, but for them to know that, hey, if I'm at a 640, I'm looking at, 2,000 on this house, but if I'm at a 740, now I'm like in the top tier of FICO scores. I'm looking at a $1,500 loan. So, that information we can provide with a free assessment, just to give them a ballpark of what the numbers will be. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So I can hear, I mean, just based on the conversation, you enjoy helping people. Is that kind of what inspires you to keep doing home loans? Just being able to help them save money.
Yeah. In fact, I in the past couple months have really redirected my efforts specifically for our network, our hospitality family, because as we've both experienced, a lot of people are hurting, whether it's they're working. I can't tell you, one of the friends that I helped who was in hospitality, and she told me last fall, she says, gosh, I'm working like a dog. Our business is busier than ever. This is for a resort property. She wasn't going to be getting a bonus because of
Right.
constrictions, and she was working harder than ever. I said, well, why don't you give yourself a bonus? You can shave $200-300 off your mortgage. That's a $3,600 bonus for yourself this year. And there's a lot of people that are in that situation. I think my boss is working pretty much full time, but I think she's
Right.
making half salary. So there's people that are making
Right.
half the amount of money, or maybe 25-35% less. People that have things that are, maybe they're trying to get out of the situation, or they've accrued more debt because they've bills to pay, and
Right.
I don't know, hopefully they haven't gone to a source where they're getting a high interest loan. But if there's equity, again, they can save with 2 months of no mortgage. They can get out 2 months later with a much lower rate, and then consolidate with a cash out. So I love helping people get out of situations that they maybe think they can't get out of because they
Hmm.
really haven't talked to anybody. So, and again, it's free information. We provide free
Right.
assessments, and just like to have conversations with people about the things they can do to turn things around. And then,
Okay.
if there's people like my friend that had good equity, it's maybe a little tougher now to buy an investment property, but it's not to say that you couldn't find something that maybe needs a little more work, maybe a fixer upper that's not going to be getting 20 offers every day it pops on the market.
Yeah.
And even with that, I'm happy to help as a handyman. I can, I've been helping
There
friends
you go.
with different projects, laying flooring, tile flooring. So I do a lot of those projects for people as well.
Okay.
So those are different ways that, and I'm reaching out to develop a contractor network. If the work is maybe more large scale, maybe they need to, move some beams or add
Hmm.
something to their house, then obviously there's other people in the business network we can refer them to. But yeah, it just kind of depends on everybody's scenario. But if they start thinking about it, there's a lot of things people can do,
Hmm.
often for no money out of pocket. So, like just
Nice.
to put those things on the table, let people see, how they can improve their situation.
Are you seeing a lot of, because of COVID and all the restrictions with travel and people having to work from home, remotely, are you seeing a lot of people, doing a lot of home loans for home improvements?
I wouldn't say there's a lot doing that. I think, again, I think there's the misconception that it's going to cost them a lot of money, or they're going to increase their payments. Well, like I said, my friend that tapped into her investment property, she was able to pull $70,000 out of
Hmm.
her house and get a lower payment. So there are
Wow.
scenarios where someone has a rate that's over in the high threes, maybe in the fours. They can actually take that money out for a home improvement or a debt consolidation, or even for maybe the kids are going to school
Right.
this coming next year, and college tuition payments are going to start. So when you do it when the markets the rates are so low, you
Hmm.
can take advantage. Let's say God forbid the market does take a downturn, and home
Hmm.
properties come down. Your home property in that scenario goes down as well. So the amount of equity you could pull at that time goes down. So it's just a matter of making people aware of those different scenarios they may not have thought about that we do come across,
Right.
um, that we're able to help them. And then in terms of coming across different scenarios, like I mentioned, my broker that I work with has done this for 10 years. So it's great. Anytime, it's fun. Every loan that I do has a different scenario. It's amazing. I learn
True.
something new on every loan, but I'm
Hmm.
learning from people that have gone through it, which are, the brokers that I work with. So we're able to get most people through, any scenario that they put in front of us. Some people, they might have to wait if there's a situation
Hmm.
where the lenders just won't approve them. But in most cases, I've only seen that happen once.
Nice. And so I
Yeah.
know you and I were talking a little bit offline about this. You actually have something um, called the Hospitality Pro Guide that you actually share on your social media, right? On LinkedIn.
Yeah.
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 Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I've created this guide, and most of the ideas on the guide they're really tips or ideas that have come about because there are different ways I've helped people, and there are different misconceptions that I've come to realize exist by helping people, such as the fact that you could take 2 months off your mortgage this month. These are all ideas that I've listed on my hospitality guide, and if folks are
Okay.
interested, they can find it on LinkedIn, on the references section, and there's
Okay.
information on there as far as where it's on the website, and then we can communicate with people in different ways. And then if people decide they want to reach out to you or myself, that they actually want to move forward,
Hmm.
one of the ideas on the guide is to have a conversation with both your mortgage loan officer as well as a real estate professional to explore hey, what would it look like if I was to, get into a house, whether it's now or 6 months from now, a nice new
Right.
build with a lender that works with us as a preferred, or a builder that works with us as a preferred lender. Those are all ideas on the guide. I think that will open up people's eyes to the different ways they can either increase their disposable income. They can possibly create new cash flows with an investment property if they've got good equity, or hey, maybe even get involved in the mortgage business like myself. I'm going to be
Right.
building a team in the future. That's one of the ideas,
Nice.
creating a little extra cash flow. About in Nevada, it takes a 30-hour course that you can do
Okay.
online. And then you have to pass the exam with a score of 75% or higher. But if that's something
Okay.
people want to explore, we help them through that process as well. So all different ideas on how you can improve your situation if what you're doing right now doesn't look like it's got much of a future, or maybe you're tired of it, or you just want to try something new, or hey,
Right.
you got some expenses coming up that you don't quite know if especially in hospitality, when the market's going to bounce back
Yeah.
completely. You can move forward with some of these different ideas. So yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
great to share that with people.
I've noticed a lot of people I know in our industry, hospitality or special events, they've got a couple of side hustles going on. So it's nice
Yeah,
to see how people are thinking outside the box and getting into different things. Until hopefully things reopen 100%.
yeah,
So we'll see. Crossing our fingers. I mean, that's what I'm really passionate about is special events, and definitely looking forward to things opening up a little bit more. But I do love the real estate side. I made a lot more new connections getting started in that this past summer. So yeah, it's nice to see that you're doing well from the last time I spoke with you. So
yeah,
that's
yeah. I've learned a
awesome.
lot. I've learned a lot in the realm of social media, and really
Mm-hmm.
the ideas with social media. It doesn't matter what your business is
Mm-hmm.
to increase your network and to maintain consistent communication with that network. So
Right.
expand your network with the tools that are available. I've gone through a program for the last 8 weeks, which I'm happy to share with people that are in any line of work about how they can expand their business network. Because
Okay.
as you expand your network, you're going to find more people who are ready for your service at that
Yeah.
moment. I see a lot of people getting into business, maybe tapping into social media, that only really are posting, and it's only really hitting their network. And there's people in everyone's network
Mm-hmm.
that we can all help. That if you only post your network, there are people that you'll be able to help. But for some, it may take longer before you can
Right.
help them. Or once you've helped most of the people, you need to expand your network to find new people that you can help. So some of the programs that I've put into place have really expanded my network in terms of my referral network. I've communicated now with
Nice.
just over 300 realtors in the last few weeks over in Las Vegas, in Reno, now in Orlando. And I'm starting to find people, many also with, like yourself, with a hospitality
Mm-hmm.
background, who are doing this more, maybe not just as a side hustle, maybe as their
Right.
future
Right.
business direction. And I'm also expanding it, like I said, into other industries, such as I want to get a network of contractors that can help people when they want to do an expansion on their house or make some changes, or CFPs and CPAs that can all help
Mm-hmm.
shave the costs or realign people's financial, how they're spending their money, how they're clearing up their debt situation. So really expanded my entire business network through this social media
Nice.
outreach.
Isn't it
Yeah,
crazy?
it's been
Yeah, social media is I mean it's definitely I was never really a big fan of it in the beginning. I was just
I
that
know.
Facebook or Instagram mom where you post pictures of
Yeah,
your kids
same
playing
with me.
soccer and stuff. But yeah, just during COVID, everyone's had to increase their social media presence to kind of stay, relevant with what's going on. Yeah. That's good though. I'm glad that you
Totally.
are, adding more to your network because of social media. It's definitely a great way to connect. I mean, I got a couple of my real estate deals through social media from the posts that I did. So it definitely works.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Awesome.
it totally
Well,
works. It
so I do have one more question to ask you that I ask all my guests. Is there a daily affirmation or quote that you like to start your day off with?
I don't start with anything I'd say per se, but there's one idea that has resonated in my mind, and
Mhm.
it's who I am. It's what I do. I've been in product development in the industry, the hospitality industry, for years. And that phrase is create or disintegrate. I feel if we're not moving forward, we may be, stopping or falling back.
I like
If
that.
you're, yeah, create or disintegrate. It's a really simple logo. And I just love the creative aspect. I'm a problem solver. I love to, like I said earlier, I like to build stuff. I like to create things and get ideas from different platforms, whether it's in design or architecture, or whether it's in social media. I'm always looking for information on how I can improve, whether it's my business or how I can do something different, better. I mentioned to you earlier, I own or contracted my pool, and that was
Yes.
because I was talking to a few friends who had done something similar, and they got me kind of thinking about the process. I love to save myself money. I love to save other people money. So by doing so, I learned how to do something which was probably the biggest project I've ever taken on, create something that really came out beautiful, get a lot of compliments on, and I saved a ton of money. So,
Nice.
I'm helping other friends do some projects around their house now with some of the different tools that I've learned about. So it's all about create or disintegrate. If I'm not creating, I mean, I love watching a movie and just chilling at night. That's my downtime. But during the day, if I'm not creating something, like today, I'm going to go pick up some oleanders and plant them at one of the ladies I do some handyman work for, just kind of beautify her
Nice.
backyard a little bit. So I'm always looking for something like that where I can help people and save the
Awesome.
money. There's so many. It's funny. There's so many little projects that I'll pick up that most contractors won't do because it's not a big enough job. Doesn't make sense for them. But for me, $100, $200, $300 in an afternoon, helping somebody save some money, do
Right.
something nice to fix up the situation. I enjoy that.
That's awesome. That's nice. And it's nice that you stay connected with, people you work with. I hope that
Yeah.
it's an easy project today. It's actually a nice day today compared to the
Yeah.
weather we had earlier this week, right?
Should be pretty. Digging a hole in the ground in anywhere in Las Vegas is never easy, but um, I'll
True.
get through it. I've done it before.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking time out of your Sunday to be here with us and explain a little bit about what you do and what you offer. I definitely hope that there's somebody that can get some good information out of this. And for those who are looking to reach out to you, what's the best way to contact you?
Well, I'd say you can find me. I mean, my name's not the most typical, but it's definitely the only one on LinkedIn and on Facebook.
Okay.
Ivar Hottentot. I don't know if you want to share my number or if you do that on your own page, but homeloansbyivar.com
Okay.
is where my application is located. That one's pretty easy. And again, on my LinkedIn page, there's a lot of other information on references. My phone number, my email. Ivar at the diamondlendinggroup.com is my
Okay.
email address. But yeah, and then there's links or yeah, the information where they can find the guide, and then there's other
Mhm.
references for anyone that's in business that wants to expand their presence on social media. I just put a guide on there called Maximize LinkedIn Real Estate, and this is
Okay.
a way that you can kind of change your page. Again, it's all free. It's
Hmm.
My guide is free. The information, the amount of information you can put on LinkedIn on your about section, on how you
Right.
describe what you do, not what your title is, are all ways you can kind of stand out. And if they go to LinkedIn, they'll find a lot of that information. Just take a look at my page and see maybe how it's different from other loan officers or
Right.
just really any industry. So I'm helping people in that
Awesome.
way as well with the social media tips that I've learned over the year or the last
Nice.
two
That's
months.
nice that you're
Yeah.
sharing those tips because some people don't
Yeah.
know, and especially right now, like I said, with COVID going on, like everyone has to kind of revamp their LinkedIn
Yeah.
profile, and if they're starting something new, they have to kind of learn how to make their social media stand out from the others.
Totally. Yeah,
Awesome.
mine looked very similar to what you see out there 2 months
Right.
ago, but now you'll see
Okay.
there's quite a difference. So
Very cool.
if I
Well,
can
I'm
share that or
definitely
help
going to have
anyone,
to, yeah, I'll have to check that out for sure. Thank you so
yeah, if
much,
you have any
Ivar. I
questions.
appreciate you taking time out again and hope to speak to you again soon.
Thanks, Donna. Appreciate
All
the
right. Have a
opportunity.
good day. Thanks.
You
Bye
too.
bye.
Bye bye.